What's the perfect sweetbread we could make? Monkey bread. Oh, it's going to be so easy. Okay, first thing we're going to do is combine our water, our milk, and our eggs. Make sure it's nice and warm. And then we're going to put in our flour, yeast, sugar, butter, and salt. And you see I have a measuring scale on the bottom, because it's just better when you measure. Everything is perfection. And I had to warm up the liquids so that the yeast can set just right. You see how little I have cubed the butter as well, because we're going to put this into the mix bowl and we want to make sure everything is nice and mixed, even if the butter isn't soft. You know what I mean? Okay, so after we get this nice and mixed up, we want to make sure that we scrape the sides so that we know that everything is mixed in. Before we add the mixture, yes, that's the milk, eggs, water that we put on the stove. And now we're going to let this baby go for a nice minute, like 6-7 minutes strong. You can test it by seeing if it rips. If it's doing all this ripping, it's super sticky, you need to let it go for some more, okay, friend? Because we really want to make sure that our dough is firm, but still really soft when it comes out. You see how it's just holding together? It's sticky, but it's not super sticky. That's the sweet spot. Now we're going to make sure we grease our bowl before we place our dough in, because it's going to be hard to get it out. Look at this. You see? That's some tough dough. Look how pretty it is. Oh, it's so satisfying. So we're going to make sure we scrape as much as we can out from the mixing bowl, because we need all of our bread. You know what I mean? And make sure that you put saran wrap over it, or a covering that's nice and tight, no air getting out, because we need to proof this dough and we need to put it somewhere warm for about 40 minutes so it can fume. And it's going to be so soft and squishy. Now we're going to get our regular sugar, our brown sugar, our cinnamon, and we are going to use this to create the sweetest bread of your life. That's the melted butter. Yes, you have to put melted butter on the top of it, because that's the top that's going to be on the bottom. Does that make sense? We're going to sugar our surface, and boom, see, the top is now the bottom. Oh, look how fluffy it looks. It is literally just as soft as it looks, like a pillow, a marshmallow pillow. Stretch it out into about a nice square, because after we stretch it out into a square, we're going to need to start cutting it after we butter the top. We're going to butter and sugar the top. So you can use your fingers. You don't have to get fancy if you don't have one of those brushes. Then we're going to get a pizza cutter and we're going to make sure we cut these up into cubes. There should be about 64 pieces, so try not to cut them too big. And then we're going to butter the bottom and then sugar the bottom. Most people use bundt pans. I like to use a cake pan, but the more butter and sugar you add, the ooier and gooier your monkey bread's going to be. Each piece of dough, dip it in butter, dip it in sugar, then place it on the bottom of your pan. Then we are going to cover it, and we're going to put it back for about 20 minutes so it can double in size. And we have to make our glaze to go on top. So what we're going to do is melt down our butter, add some brown sugar. You can use some vanilla, some almond extract, cinnamon, anything you want to use to spice up this glaze. And we're going to make sure we put this all over the top, okay? This is going to set it off. So we bake at 350 for about 30 minutes or so. When you take it out, you have to put it upside down. You have to flip that pan, because that's where all the juices went. You see how squishy it is, how soft it is, how gooey it is. It's a little crunchy too when you bake it just right.